boys, hey girlies, hey slayers. Welcome back to the Ask Sis Podcast. Today we have the multi-talented Lynne Vatau. She is also the owner of Fale De Keke. You can either find her baking, coordinating school programs, or just, having a little drama production on the side. Just casually.
What else is there?
She is a proud Samoan. She is the ex-student of Auckland Girls Grammar. And honestly, I am not going to do her justice by introducing her like this. So just welcome her in, and I'm going to give her the time to let you know where she comes from, what she do, and what she is currently doing right now. So Ariel, give her a round of applause. I say Ariel, but it's just me. Woohoo!
All right, what a welcome.
Hey, sis.
Hey, sis. Thanks for that. Talofa love, everyone. My name is Lynne Vatau. Oh my gosh, I was just going to start.
I was going to say,
I was about to say my age, and I was like,
tell them,
me.
Get in.
Okay, well, guys, I'm 28 years old. Yep. And I'm also New Zealand-born Samoan, born and raised in Manurewa, where I reside right now, and I probably will be there for the rest of my life, sis. I'm real proud. I'm a church girl. I love being Samoan. I'm brown and proud. And yeah, just recently owned a business, Fale De Keke, which I started off. But even before that journey, sis, I'm just all over the place. Like I'm in the community. My whole life growing up has just been about church, family, and then work and serving. Yeah. So that's just a bit about myself.
I think, sis, not just the surface level about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I wanna know where your journey begins, and then we can dive deeper into like where you're currently at, and what stages in life you're at. But where does your journey begin in terms of having your own company or having your own business?
Yes, so every time I'm asked this question, it's just so hard to pinpoint all the different moments. It's just, even such a age of 28, there's so many things that have happened, but I've been through everything. Like the school, finished at Auckland Girls Grammar. I went to university straight after there. Following the same things, the standards that our parents set up for us, go to school, succeed, and then go on to your career or whatever it is that they have in mind. My parents didn't have too much of that pressure on me, but I did have a dream originally to be a high school teacher. So I went through university.
I can see that.
You can see it? Oh, yeah, well, that boat fully sailed. I missed that ship, but so I was pursuing that dream to be a high school teacher. Finished Auckland University in 2017 with a Bachelor of Arts, double majoring in drama and Pacific Studies. Don't ask me how I even got that. Yeah, it's just Pacific Studies and arts. I love performing arts. That's another thing about me, sis, that I don't really share much, especially now that everyone knows me for doing cakes, and now with Sisters United, like everything about females and workshops, empowering women. But I do love performing arts too, which I think has been kind of a little tool that's helped me with the different roles that I've had. So finished with that degree, started my bachelor, the postgraduate diploma to become a teacher. Didn't quite finish it, and I've shared it in a lot of different podcasts, but I didn't finish that paper. I'd done my practicum in Tangaroa College and De La Salle. Yeah. And I promise it wasn't those schools that influenced it, but I definitely couldn't finish that year. And a lot of it was my own mental health. Like that year, I had burnt out by the end of that studying year, and I didn't finish it. But it is what pushed me to doing what I now am known for, which is Fale De Keke. And that was all in 2019. I had already started doing cakes, sis, because I know this is all also about the Fale De Keke. I had started in 2016, where I was just decorating for fun and making it for my friends and family. And then that's where you show the power of social media. Posted it to my, 3 followers, but they hyped it up. And then over time, they started to inquire for some cakes, trusted us. And then I just built this massive community on Instagram alone. And then COVID happened, which was like a time of uncertainty. Yeah. But by then I had already dropped out of university, the teaching degree. I had dropped out in 2019, and I made a promise to my mom, because that was a hard conversation, made a promise to her that I was going to open a shop and do something with that talent just to make up for the fact that I dropped out. Yeah. So it's a whirlwind, and I haven't even gotten to where I am now, and that is now that I've done 4 years of having our shop and having Fale De Keke standing and working and serving our community with cakes. And then earlier this year, 2024, I made the crazy decision to come and be a youth worker. And yeah, it's been a journey, but I know that we're going to touch in on that as we go.
It's a bit crazy.
It's crazy. Life is crazy.
4 years. Just going off from where you started. I think there are so many young girls, or they're just people in general. They aspire to be their own boss. They aspire to grow up and one day own their own business. They don't need to answer to anyone. But you've sort of done like the whole 360 turn, and you've done the whole owning your own business, becoming your own CEO, and then now you're working for someone else or a whole nother company.
Yeah.
Like what made you? Everyone knows Fale De Keke. Everyone knows that this is your brand. This is where you come from. This is what you do. But what made you want to have like a whole different journey or take a leap of faith and try something new?
Yeah, thanks. I love that question, sis. And no one's actually asked me about that because it's a whole new journey. It's like freshly happening right now in my life. And I would say it's not a one event. It's been a series of little events that have helped me make that decision to come into Sisters United. I would say it started properly from last year. It was catching up with coffee with a friend in business, Johnny, who owns Brown Pride. We had caught up over coffee, and it was just talking about business, checking in. And even though everyone knows me for doing cakes, a small part of me kind of felt and knew that I love hanging out with people. Like I love being with people. Like every time when I'm just facing my cakes and crumb coating them, sometimes it's like I just know there's a burst of energy, a burst of me that wants to be out there working with community, working with young kids. Like I've always been passionate about youth from being a young girl, because that's why I pursued being a teacher. And then that didn't work out quite how I wanted it. And then I thought, you know what, that's not working right now. I'm going to go through this path of doing cakes. But even while I was going and growing FDK to be what it is today, I just still knew at the end of this, my plan is to have it all connected. Like cakes, community, people, empowerment. Like that's what I've always been about. And so last year, Johnny was like, he heard that passion from his poor sister, and he chucked out, look, we need to throw a mental health program for women, and we are boys, we can't run it, so why don't I just give it to you and some of the gym girls? Yeah. And that was my first time being chucked back into working with females in like a community space, so I was like, man, thanks for that. So I got to do a bit of my outlet and connect with women in that way. And then I was like, okay, it was that. And then church was, so just for context, guys, my life has just always been revolved around church from the start, Mom and them have ingrained in me, like serve in church, serve in family. And so it's always been there. And I've always been in my youth. I've always been in the mafut. Now Mom's chucked me a mafutanga tina and mafutanga Tamaitai. If you can relate, you can relate, It's a lot of these things are all naturally volunteer, promise. But anyway, so then there were like things happening in that space. Like my church was then going through a phase of running workshops. And then when it came to females and young youth, it was like, Lynne, Lua, you organize that. Lua, can you run that? It was like everyone was always asking me to do things that were community-based, that were to do with empowering young people. And that was good practice for me to like, this is really what I'm really enjoying this. And then it got to the point where the wider New Zealand Singoki acknowledged and asked, and I won a scholarship to go represent the whole of New Zealand in a Mafutanga Tina conference happening in Samoa, September this year. And so it's all these different opportunities that were just aligning. And then again, like I was catching up with Kendra, and she was talking about how they were in need of awesome youth workers here and the work that you guys do. And I was like low-key like, can I please? Can it please be me? Like, I love the work that Sisters United have been doing. I've been involved in some of the old, those conferences. Yeah. They're so litty. And it was all the things that I wish I had when I was in high school. So then I was like, this is the kind of team I want to be a part of. And then I was grateful for the opportunity to come and be a youth worker and to work alongside you. So that is where I am now, guys. I'm part-time here, part-time over there, and part-time at church, part-time everywhere, yeah.
I love how you're able to spread yourself with all these different things, your church, your business, your job.
Yeah.
Your, but where does the balance come in place? Like, I don't think, like, how do you balance being a youth leader, still running? Because don't correct me if I'm wrong, but you're still part of Fale De Keke.
Yeah.
You're still hustling for your business and stuff like that, while at the same time working for Sisters United. So where does the whole balance fit in?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, and I think that's the season that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of if you can't tell us, a lot of the times it's spur of the moment. So I'm not saying it was a spur of the moment decision to come work, but it's
Did
all
you hear
like
that to my boss out
Kendall
there?
promised that it wasn't spur of the moment, but no, like I feel like when it's something greater than, it's gonna sound all like real, but when it's a calling that you feel like you almost have no control over, it's like I really believe that I belong in this kind of space, as well as the business. I will never let that down. Like, that's my baby. So now that I know it's in good hands with my sisters and family who are, running it day to day, they were so supportive of me to come out and chase a passion that they already knew has always been set on my heart, because they knew that I sacrificed going for teaching to grow the business when I knew it was the right time.
Yeah.
And so for me to have that talk with them, surprisingly went really, that they were so understanding. I think many of the times, like, things that people don't know is my family, they alofa to me, seeing that I have had, like, from the time I was 20 till almost 30, no life, like, literally dedicated my whole life and time to being what FDK is now, and finally it's in a position that I can step away and chase something that's always been in my heart to do. But balance, do not have any balance right now. That's for starters. I'm still navigating that. All of it's happening full on at the same time, but I know that when I'm in whatever space that I am in at the time, I dedicate fully to it. So I'm not giving, and because I'm, like, I think that's all of us women, especially us that work in the spaces, we don't half anything. We don't half beep anything. We do it with all of our might the same way. And the things is, a lot of the things that I'm used to at FDK align here already. Like, at FDK being my own business, after all the glamorousness is finished and the recording's done, you're there, you're cleaning all those dishes, you're mopping the floor, you're doing all the hard work that no one wants to do.
Yeah.
And then when I come here, it is the same thing. Like, when everything is done, everyone dedicates so much more time as youth workers to make sure that they're giving out the best service. So,
you know what, sis, I love that, and that's what I want. That's what I want you to share. I think there are always these certain videos that we post on social media, and we show the fun side. We show, like, cool, I'm my own boss, this is what I'm doing, but no one really gets to see the hard yards and the things that people don't want to do. So, like, touch on that a bit. Like, what are the things that people don't want to see, or what are the things that people don't actually understand? That what it takes to become a CEO, like building, because let's be honest, like, to become your own boss, you build on it.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you had to do in order to build your business to where you are at right now?
I agree, sis. Like, there are so many right now. TikTok, everything is glamorized in terms of being your own CEO, being a boss. What's lucky enough is you kind of, like, even at this point, I still, like, cringe just a little bit when people say CEO or like business, because especially being Pacifica, that it's your whole village that have supported you to be in that space. Yeah. But the non-glamorous parts are definitely like the washing up afterwards, the hard nights, especially the long hours. That would be the biggest humbling lesson for me in my growth to being owner of a business. Like, there were so many nights where I was like, I just want to throw the towel in, but you just know that there's no one's going to pick it up after you. Like, it's almost like do or die when it comes to, like, running your own business. You have to put in those hours. There are so many times when we would finish, especially when we first opened up the shop in 2020, we weren't used to running on opening hours. And the opening hours, yes, you see when you go to a business or a service, they're open from 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. How I wish that all the work was just done in that space. We would finish up at 5:30 p.m. and then me and my sisters would be there until, because we weren't used to it, we'd be there until 3 a.m, go home, have a quick shower, and then come back in ready to open the doors at 6. Like, that's the kind of how we were.
It's just ongoing.
It was ongoing, and that's how we were running it, because that's the hard work that no one wants to do, is commit the actual the long hours, the restless nights, the cleaning, all the non-fun things. But that was a lesson, and I think it builds a good resilience. I would say, like, it was definitely character building, because now in any situation, I notice I've learned about myself is I won't give up easily, just because I know how rewarding it can be, your hard work, if you just stay consistent and keep trying. Give it your best.
You know, sis, but how did you deal with, like, the pressure of disappointment? Because a cake, like, a cake is a big thing. You have your cake for your wedding day, your birthday, and stuff like that. But how do you deal with that? Because some people look at their cake and that's like the centerpiece of the event. And imagine if it didn't make it, or, like, were there ever times in your career that a cake didn't make it on time, or it wasn't the cake that the customer had asked for? You know, like, things like that. How did you deal with that pressure?
The smile is just literally it's just like, no, thank you for the question. Like, it is so true, because I'm smiling, and probably if I've disappointed anyone, you're probably like, why are you smiling? Like, but the truth is, like, we have, when we're just like any other service, there will be a time where we drop the ball and we've let people down. I know for sure there's easily been so many, some disappointing reviews on Google, but don't go all reading it. Come on now. But, people have left disappointed reviews. They've sent through emails, things like that. And it's just, honestly, if anyone ever thinks that we don't take it seriously, I, to this day, still take every single review, every single feedback to the heart. Like, and not to say that I don't know how to deal with it and that I go blaming. No, I genuinely am that kind of person where I just get disappointed in myself. But that's something that I've come to learn as well in my time as navigating this position as a business owner, is that you just, before I used to lock myself in a room and, like, honestly, everyone was like, just don't bother her today because she's just going to be crying in a room. Like, that's how personally I took it. But now I'd say it's like helped me to grow a strong backbone, because, like, now I know that it's just take it as feedback and then better my services. Because if I stopped at every bad review or any negative feedback, then FDK wouldn't be where it is today. Like, I would have given up, like, many years ago. We've done so many mistakes in our time, but we take it as a lesson. And then I just personally, we always try to do better to serve, and because we hate disappointing others in all areas: life, work, business, home, parents.
To anyone who might be watching, or any young entrepreneur that might be watching, what is your piece of advice, or what's one thing you can tell them when it comes to, like, disappointment, in order for them to keep going, because we wouldn't want them to give up on their dream, but what's one thing that kept you going, even when you thought you had disappointed others?
And you know what, sis, that's such a great question, because I'm just thinking about how in our work, and the work that we do in schools with the, with all our young female leaders and mentors, is that's a common, like, they're still feeling the same way that we felt as young women, like the pressures of from parents to, like, succeed and to do well. And even if parents aren't necessarily pressuring their kids to be like that, it's just, as Pacifica woman as well, you just feel this natural need to make sure that you make everyone proud. Your village that pour into you, you want to do the best by them. But my biggest feedback that I'd give them is to try and it's just to maybe be confident in who they are, to focus on the positive things that they the gifts and talents that they naturally gravitate towards. Just nurture those gifts and grow it, and they have no idea where it might lead them. Like, my mom originally, my mom, for context, mom is born in Samoa. She's the one that migrated here with her family. She didn't know much about what I was even learning in school or what I was doing. All she knew was stay in school and you'll do well. it took me going to this journey of FDK to have to show her that there is more ways than just going through school. Like, it's not working for me right now, but I'll show you that I've got this gift of decorating cakes, and I will grow with hard work. I will grow this for you, and I'll show you that we can do it. It needs to be something aonga, something that's useful for the family. And I just showed her that way. And then my mum is strict as well, but she let me do my whiapoko. And then she sees it now, and she's so supportive. And now she's in that space where you almost like, I'm not saying go be your besties with your parents, but that is a good lesson too, is get to know your parents and share with them. Like, at the core of every parent, I know that they're just worried for you. But if you talanoa to them, you talk to them, you tell them your vision, you tell them your plans, and then you stick by your word and actually work hard for whatever it is that you're passionate about. Eventually, once you show your parents what you're capable of, they will grow to that new idea. They will grow to that new journey, that new possibility of success, because it's just, I think they just worry, and that's where the pressure comes from. But be yourselves and nurture the gifts and talents, and don't try to pursue something that is just by your parents. Like, I have so many friends, even my own sisters, like, where they've done things that was set by our parents, but then realizing it's not what they're passionate about. Just think about it, and whatever it is that you are passionate about, no matter how long it takes you to actually get to that job, it's nothing compared to the number of years that your parents have worked in whatever job that they have worked in. Well, I'm talking from my own experience, because my parents, when they came here, all they worked in was a newspaper, printing. And they worked there 20 plus years, both of them. They didn't know any other kind of work, only factories and labor work. And I'm so grateful that there was this one year in high school at AGS, they had a Hawaii trip, and I just needed some little pocket money for my trip. I didn't need to go into that job to save my family, but I just went there to get some pocket money. And they threw me on my first night shift or something. They threw me on my first night shift. I couldn't even survive. Sis, I stood at the newspaper machine, and you have to feed it with paper really fast. And I was just like my eye was like closing. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so. And I'm saying, like, nearly 60-year-old, nearly 65-year-old woman, old woman and old men had to come in there like, move. They felt sorry for me. And I was such a youthful young girl. Like, I should have had all the strength to do that. But that's what I mean, like, built different. Like, and then because you've seen, it was, I'm useless at like night shift is what I've learned. But one thing is, like, that experience taught me that, look, this is all they know. This is all they've come. And these are the jobs that they had to settle for. But I've grown up in schools here. I've been granted education opportunities, in such a different environment. We now have social media, like access to phones, jobs, anything right on the tip of our fingers. I owe it to them to go hardcore in whatever it is that I put myself to. And it made me think, like, if they can dedicate 20 plus years to a job that they don't even like, 10 years of struggling to study, 10 years of doing like hard hours to get to where you want to be is nothing compared to the work that they've had to go through. So that's where I'm like, my parents never like pressured me that much. I see their hard work, and I know I don't want to repeat it.
And you know what, sis, I do think you're one of the lucky ones. I think there are a lot of immigration stories of people migrating to New Zealand from the islands, but the pressure is real. The pressure is real. And sometimes it doesn't matter what age you are. I could be a 30-year-old and my mom's still telling me, do this and that. And, I know it's out of love. It's definitely out of love. But touching on your village, because you're working here for Sisters United, but then who's running Fale De Keke? Who's getting those orders out,
Yeah. It's my village. It's my sisters. In our business, it's run by me, my older sister Tina, my younger sister Tina, another Tina, little Tina, Amri, Valasi, Masangi, Luca, Mala, Maya. There's, the list can go on and on. There's a whole village that back that shop. Right in the day-to-day, it's all my sisters and my nieces that, get our cakes and orders out. But I think the reason why that, FDK is so blessed, or like in that way, is it's had a whole community, a whole village back it. I remember when we first opened the shop, I had no idea how to open a shop, what to do, we don't even know what to do. But I know for sure that there, our families, our people might not have much, but they came through with the most weirdest like things, but I'm like blessings. Like say for example, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but say for example, like when we were opening the shop, like they were using like their work trucks to come in. Like I don't even need to say which work it was, but the bottom line is that they came through like with the things that they were able to offer to help serve the business. We had some, they were like, they're going to throw away a whole pallet full of boxes. We'll just bring it to you guys to use. And I was like, that's cool. That'll save me having to pay for boxes. So then it was like, support in those kind of ways. Whatever work that they do work in, they were bringing what they could offer, their own services. Lots of them are handymen. They came, helped support. I'm saying it wasn't even just our immediate family. It was extended family. Our church were there during the opening. I think our whole complex of shops in Takanini, they're probably like awful. They're probably like shocked because it would look like it was probably looked like it was like a funeral or something. It was like such a grand opening for our little shop space, but we had a whole local there, a full-on local service in the front. And it wasn't just a one day and then that's it. They're consistently coming in the doors, seeing how they can help or whatever, always checking in. And so, and I've shared on other podcasts and platforms too, is I know that our people, once they see someone make it through to something that they never could imagine, then they back it 100% support. That's all I could feel. And to this day too. So you're right, sis. Really blessed in that I've had lots of village support.
It's not even just back it, like you're so inspiring as well. I think that opening is so well deserved. Like when I heard that you're coming on to work for Sisters United, I was like, man, I wanted to share a story. Like she's a business owner, and I go, man, she's making me look stink. But I love it. It's so inspiring to own something, but also chase another passion of yours. So that just makes me wonder: was baking cakes a passion or just a talent? I know, like I can be good at this, but is it something that I really like to do? Like, was making or decorating cake something you actually enjoyed doing?
Yeah, it was not in the cards. Like, no, never did I ever, actually, baking as well. I haven't baked in years. It's all my sisters. I just do it for fun here and there. But in terms of the business, I haven't touched the baking in ages. My biggest, passion was the decorating. And that itself, I think it was just a creative outlet. At the time that I started learning how to decorate, it was while I was procrastinating from doing my university assignments. So it was definitely a talent that grew over time with practice. Again, I've never been to any courses that do baking or decorating. It was all off YouTube. Now there's so many reels, like you can literally, that was another good lesson for me, is that you can, whatever it is, if you might not be the naturally born with those talents, but you can grow strength by strength if you practice it. If you practice it and just, dedicate time to it, that you'll get better with hard work. That's all it was. But in terms of that was never part of my plans, was to be a decorator but it's aligned, and now it's, I love it too.
And it worked out. It really did work out. Yeah. Well, hopefully, Sisters United works out long term, sis.
What's that little bit of a nudge? Of course. Yeah. But not only that, sis, I would say that faith brought a lot of it too. And by saying that, it was just recent. But I really, if you see me trying to juggle a lot of different things right now, I've had this, it's like I really feel like it's all God's purpose for me right now. Like I manifest it every single day. Like I just say, say for example with the Sisters United as well, is I was in a space where I already felt like I was spread thin across a lot of things. But then I do these prayers like every day in the mornings to God, and I just said, like, if there's, with these talents and gifts that you've given me, if there's anything that you want me to do with it or use it for, like that these things will happen and I'll align. I will just go where you order me. Is pretty much where that's the season that I'm living in right now. It's just following what I really believe is my purpose, and that's serving the community, helping people, especially young women, and just building God's kingdom. That's really what I'm working on right now.
I'm glad you brought up your faith, because I'm a spiritual person, but But people might not really know that. But with you, the first moment I met you or moment I saw you, I could tell that you're spiritual. And I know this question might be a bit more personal, but now that you're in a space of youth work, and everyone thinks and acts different, like there's so many girls in school that might not have a faith or might not have that spiritual foundation. Why do you think it's so important to have a spiritual foundation or a faith in a higher being or God?
Yeah. I would be just like those girls in high school. Like, yes, I was going to church. I was doing all the things that mom and them were asking me to go, which is, go to church. And I was serving just for the sake of making mom proud at the time when I was younger. In these, in my older years, where I am now is like, a lot of it is by like, I love to do it. Like, I love to be a youth leader at my church. Like, I love being a part of, helping others grow, especially the young people that I get to, also a Sunday school teacher, and all these things are like, I just love to help others. And that's where it's come from. But I would say in these more recent years, like my own connection with God has only strengthened in the last 2 years. And yeah, so this hasn't been me all the time, but there have been so many situations where I've been in my business journey, in the journey with FDK, there have been so many times, especially in these times, like business right now is so tough for so many people, so many entrepreneurs out there. It's tough. But there was for the example, there was this one time I just remember being so burnt out, I had parked up in my car outside FDK, and I was just so exhausted because it was again. Oh my gosh, stay clear. There's so many times in my journey right now is that there is a bit of pressure. Well, it's now not only I'm doing it to, please mom and them, but I'm responsible now for my staff. I'm responsible for keeping this, and so many people know about this passion. And there was this one time where I was just like, I'm so mentally drained, like of running it, of operating it, of thinking of what next, of trying to be in control of everything. I was so exhausted. I parked up outside my car, and this is way before like this year, but I just had a huge meltdown in my car. And I was just like, I don't know what to do next. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. There's so many challenges. And by challenges, I mean, I don't know what. When you're just, really don't think people get, like, when you're running something, especially at young, sometimes if you don't have people around you, like, that are creative or things like that, you just don't know what your next steps are. And so I sat there just defeated. Like, I don't know what to do now, but I just know that I left it to God. And I said, this is one of many different scenarios, by the way. I just said, I'm just going to leave it with you. But I doubt you're going to be able to handle this one. This is probably way too big for you, God. And then within hours, like, so can you tell I'm still going through that season? But within hours, like, God answered something that I could have never imagined. Like, he just immediately, like, and it was something so personal that I only asked him for help with. And he did it for me. He did it for me on that day. And not only just answered it, he like fully flexed and like it was like not natural. So it was like, yeah, I'm just going to show you that don't ever doubt me when, and that's just one of many situations, sis. But I just know that it's tough running a business. It's tough being a daughter with lots of responsibilities and roles and things to do in the family and church, and that having that higher being, believing, having your faith strongly, I think it really does help you to be resilient. It helps build your character. It helps you to remember that there's more to life than just that struggle at the time. And that it gives you hope as well, that there's better days to come. Because if we didn't have something to believe in, even if it's not God or whatever, your own God, then I think there would be a lot more sadness, I guess, in the world than there already is, which is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
I love that you shared that we were able to sort of dive in deep with the behind the scenes of what a CEO actually goes into. But I think your own personal opinion, sis, would you recommend being a boss or being your own boss to all the young girls out there? Because that's what people want to be, you know, like without all the fluff and the little butterflies that people put over it. People only see the good at the end of the tunnel when you made it as a CEO. But would you recommend that type of journey
to
to all of our, like, in your honest opinion, what you've gone through right now?
In my honest opinion, yes. I know. It's like you don't just spiel about like how bad and negative and doom and gloom and then tell us, yes, be a boss. Like, I just mean like that journey, I couldn't imagine it for myself, but now that I've come through it and I'm still going through it, it's definitely built my character.
Yeah.
It's made me really dig deep into who I am. In my faith, it's made me I'm grateful for a lot more than I could have been, as you know, like it's been a journey that's helped me to learn a lot about myself, about my surroundings. It's challenged me. I think that's another good thing about being put in this, like, to this day, I still tell you, like, my sisters, they don't call me a boss. They just look at me like, you're just malolo.
You're still one of us.
You're just still, They're like, no, you're not. You know, mom is considered boss to all of us. And it's good for sisterhood because it's like equal. Because it's like, if we're going to work just as hard as you, you better not be calling yourself a boss. But they just know, they know, I know deep down that they know and they appreciate that because they still have that respect. Like, I did take the leap. For this, like, we're still very much, we stick to what's safe. But I was that crazy head that went in, I want to open a shop, and I want to, let's all go into it. But I would recommend it because it's hard, but you grow stronger from it. Like, I'm so, across everything else, I'm so proud of like how far I've come with my family.
Definitely.
And that this is a journey that I never could have imagined to begin with. So now that I'm here, I'm just like, wow. Okay, God, and
Sis, I think you should be super proud of yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because we were going a bit deep, I'm just gonna add in a little game. I'm just gonna lighten the mood up a bit. So we have this little game that we usually do when people come on, and it's just it's called the quick fire. And I'm just gonna ask you quick 10 questions, and first thing that comes to your head, you just answer it straight away. Okay? They're a bit random. They're all random. Okay?
Those are the fun ones.
Okay, your first question is chocolate or vanilla cake?
Chocolate.
Dress or skirt?
Skirt.
Water or coffee?
Coffee.
Bra or no bra?
No bra.
New South or Queensland?
Oh, I don't know. New South.
Okay, you can go over there.
Get on over there.
Okay, you can move over. Burp or fart?
Burp.
Name 2 sports you played in high school.
Lacrosse and inline roller hockey.
Okay, we'll touch on that later. 11 times 11.
22. Oh, what?
11 times 11.
Oh, well, I was just about to say 22. That doesn't even, but yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know the answer either.
Good one.
Whitakers or Cadbury?
Whitakers.
And then last one, gym night or movie night?
Gym night. Yeah. It's not always, just recent, guys.
You're a gym gal, that's
gym
why.
gal. All of a sudden.
Off your gym.
I know, sus guys.
Sorry, we'll translate later, everybody. But I think I wanted to ask on my next few questions. I want to ask some fun questions like, don't know how you feel about how's your dating life, Sissy?
You'd be the first person to ask that.
You have all these different things going on, but like, where does a man's fit into your schedule? Or where are you sitting when it comes to things like that?
Thanks, sis. All those things that we mentioned about being super busy? Yeah, there is absolutely no dating night. Like, there is, at this point in life, what is it? I'm not going to mention my age again, but yeah, I'm definitely not dating right now. And it hasn't been, I guess, super busy. Like, and I wish I was just, I am speaking on my own behalf, but unfortunately, even my surroundings, like, I am surrounded by so many, aside from my gym fams, but I'm surrounded by so many females who are we're just sisters that are just connected right now and not really
looking.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be all booked and busy. That's not, that's not the energy we're putting out.
I love that, booked and busy.
But it really has been life like that for me for a long time. And it's not to say that I'm off by the idea. It's gotten to the point, sis, where my family, growing up, your brothers were always those stern ones, you're not allowed to date, I better never see a guy around here or things like that. That was my brothers, all of them. There's so many brothers, but they all had that same energy. They are now to the point where they're like, sis. And that's how it's getting really bad, is when they're talking to you like, sis, I love, they're so proud of what I've achieved. I've done all the things that they've wanted originally from me. And now because they all have their own families and stuff, they're now saying to me, you've got all that amazing stuff that's going for you and we're so proud of you. But you know that you also deserve to be happy. And I was like, oh, well, you could have said that 10 years ago. You really could have said it 10 years ago because I was scared. And now that I'm not scared, there's nothing happening.
There's no option.
There's no options. But that's exactly what it's been like. My family, they tell me that every single week. It's like mom's little speech every week is, she cracks jokes now when I walk through the door. Now that you've got a new job, surely. And I'm like, no, absolutely no. But
it's even worse because we're all girls.
We're just running female workshops. It's absolutely no. But yeah, so in short, sis, no dating at the moment. Not to say that I'm not open to it, but it's just not happening. And in the meantime, just like I've heard online, which is really true to me as well, but I'm content in the season that I'm in and I'm not closed off to the idea, but it's just not happening. And in the meantime, I'll just continue to work on my purpose and do what it is that I'm doing.
I love that you're content, but just to push the boundaries a little bit more.
Are you saying in hopes that there's actually, these are all female listeners and then that...
Yeah, to all my beautiful female listeners and their single brothers, what are just three things you hopefully would want in a future partner?
Oh, I've never been asked this on a podcast. But welcome, everyone. Listen up. I would say off the top of my head, it would definitely be someone who is... someone who loves God, because I know, guys, you're probably thinking this is not a Christian podcast. I'm not trying to bring off that vibes, but I just know in the season that I'm in and what I value most in life, that if our values align, which is our faith and our love for God, that they would know how to love me as well. So definitely that he believes in God, loves God. Secondly would be that he's also got his own careers or ambitions, because clearly, sis, from my sharing is I love everything that I do. Like all the jobs and
you're very
the work
passionate.
that I do. I'm very passionate. And I just do my own thing. Like I just love being independent and working for my, all the stuff that I love. So if they had their own desires and dreams, that would be so great for them. And then thirdly would be, funny. Like that's just has to be, because honestly, I could...
Just the icing on the cake.
And you know what? People are always like, I think people are always like, it has to be so hot, have a six-pack, whatever. No, honestly, I'm not the type to judge by appearance. If you're funny and can make me laugh, then top 3 right there.
Well, guys, you heard it here first on our podcast. You got a funny single mans out there now.
That's exclusive. I've never shared that anywhere.
That's just top tier.
So I'm
news
putting
right
it out
there.
there, and hopefully you're just listening, whoever.
Thanks for answering that, sis. I know there's a lot of pressure. You're probably gonna email me after this, but apologies. I think my next question would be, now that you're in the youth space or coming into Sisters United, what did you like? Now you've worked with us for a few weeks now, but what you expected before you came on board, is that what you've seen so far? Like, what did you expect coming into Sisters United, and is that what you've seen working with us so far?
Yeah, I would say, my expectation coming in, like, what's so great is everyone already knows about Sisters United. Like, I already knew what Sisters United were about before I started here, before the opportunity to work as a youth worker here even started. Like, I knew that there were all things empowerment, that they're working with young people, young females in schools, building self-confidence and helping them to navigate their mental health as they grow in school and stuff, and to become leaders. I already was aware of what they're about. And then I guess me knowing that I wanted to do youth work, I was already... did I ever tell you that I was... Oh man, I'm not going to name where the organization that I was also, but I was trying to apply, as I was already running FDK, I was already trying to apply to be a youth worker somewhere else.
Oh, really?
Before the opportunity to come to Sisters United. So I was like, it wasn't even just like a specifically Sisters United. I just knew I want to work with youth.
Yeah.
But then when I heard of Sisters, like an opportunity to work with Sisters United, I was like, that's a game changer, because I know that all the things that I believe is like my personality too, like if you see they're like all things pink and bright and fluffy and kind, like that's all the stuff I expected. Like is to come in here and guys, it literally is that space. Like when I came into the office, like it starts from the entrance. Bam, a wall that's like, what does the wall say? I mean, not to say bam, and then I don't know what the wall says. It's like something dream.
Oh, dream big.
Dream big.
Dream
that's
big.
all. That's all it says. 2 words. Dream big. It says dream big, bright colors, and then I'm like, whoa. And then I come upstairs and like the walls are like yellow. Like it's just so fun. The office space, the people, all the women that are working in the space. It's just so creative. Like look around us, guys. It's everything that you see. It's everywhere that all our discussions, our team meetings, it's always uplifting, empowerment. It's talking about dreams. It's trying to help people to fulfill their best potential. And that's exactly, so yes, it's everything that I imagined it to be coming into the space. And I'm still finding my own feet of how I am as a youth worker in the space. But so far it's answered, it's fun. It's everything that I know that would benefit me if I was a young person. And I'm so glad and grateful that the young people today get to experience Sisters United.
Well, I'm glad.
No one's paying me for that.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, how it is.
She just plugged us in there. I've seen you do so many things. I've learned so many different things with you since you've come on board. But one thing I do know is that you are your own brand. Like, there's Fale De Keke, there's Sisters United, but when I look on your social media, it's just like, literally, Lynne is a brand in itself.
Oh, grateful.
No, honestly, that's
that's
how I do see it. And I just wanted to know, like, are there any pressures that come with having to uphold a certain standard? Like, do you sometimes feel like there are parts of you can't really show only because this is how you've put yourself out as, this is what the people know you as.
Yeah.
They know that I come from Fale De Keke, I work for Sisters United now. Like, is there any pressure of having to hold a few things back or a few opinions back because of the platform that you have created for yourself?
Yeah. I would say, no, I love that question. I think I'm not even aware that Lynne is creating its own brand or whatever, but I would say that everything that I know that I live by this thing that anything that I share on socials, it is kind of aligned with my values, like who I am. Like anything that I post or share, if it's not my true essence, then I won't post it. That's for sure. And I'm a huge overthinker in the way I present myself, but it's not by trying to be fake. I know people can say it's being fake or whatever, but it's not that. Like, as you can hear in my story, sis, like I carry so many people with me, like my mom everywhere, my villagers, my family. And so I just naturally, there's not too much pressure because it is who I am. I would say in terms of the social media and stuff like that, like I read this one book, sis, maybe slightly aroused, but I read that one book, Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
And I just read it beginning of last year. I read Atomic Habits. I didn't even read the full book. I read probably the first 5 pages, but it changed my life. And I'm saying, you don't hear that much, but it was just this one point that said that your habits are your identity, or your identity, accumulation of evidence of the habits that you do. And that changed my life because I was like, man. So more recently, that's the journey that I'm on right now. Is like anything that I do day to day, the same habits, I'm trying to make sure that it reflects what I value the most. And so recently, say for example, like one of them was to be, it was like, how do you want to identify yourself? I know that I want to be a good daughter. I want to be a supportive auntie. I want to be a good sister. I want to be a good boss, all these things. And so I just try to implement little habits daily that will help me to become that person. It might not be who I am now. And one of the biggest thing was like also fitness, to be honest, because I've never been the fittest, or I've never cared about, like, especially in the start of the business, I fully disregarded any form of self-care for myself. I just did everything that I just survived every day to try and grow things. But now I'm in a position where I can step back, do some self-care, look after myself. And one of it is I want to know that I'm healthy and strong enough to receive my purpose. So then I'm like focusing, like little things such as just drinking a cup of water. That's literally the small steps. And it's not working right now in this moment, but I've got like a can of tropical punch and a can of VO on the side. But You know, they don't need to know that, but I'm trying every day to do that. Just being aware of what I do daily and how it can help me to be that person. Another thing was being my family know, they mock me all the time. Maybe this is why I haven't attracted a man's, but I'm not the best cook, you know? But then I started doing this thing where I was like, I have to make sure I cook 1 meal a week, you know?
Yeah.
Just little steps to try and help me be that person that I want to be. So not there yet, but getting there.
Sis, I think you're a great cook. I think your tuna and rice is on.
Those sandwiches hit different when you're hungry.
I think just to wrap things up, where to now? Where you have all these different passions, and you remind me of a little risk taker. You know, once you have a passion of mine, you just go for it. So where are your passions going to take you now? Or what are your current passions or your new passions? And where do you want to go? After Sisters United, or just within the next few years, where does Lynne want to go?
That is, So they've heard season so many times, but that is what I'm navigating right now, is trying to see where to next. Like I've got my own dreams for FDK to grow bigger, to have a different space. Like I've run so many programs in there that are my deepest desires, like community events. I love throwing them, and I'm throwing them in the smallest cake store space, but I just do it to test what I'm passionate about, seeing if it hits off, and it does. Like, you know, so I know that these little creative parts of me that wants to explore more possibilities, make it a better community space and stuff like that. But so there's dreams for FDK to grow into a community space, and then with the youth work, like honestly, it's I will always see it as that's my biggest purpose too, is to help pour into others, just like my family have poured into me, and so I'm just gonna continue doing these and following my different gifts that I've been blessed with, just practicing them and nurturing them and just seeing where they go to. But right now, honestly, sis, I quite enjoy being told what to do here at Sisters United. I like being led over here, like in terms of like, you know, I get to release the pressure of being a boss and worrying about other things. And then when I go back into my space, I get to, you know, distance also makes me grow fonder of what I was just aligned to, like I was constantly doing. But yeah, right now I'm enjoying just taking a back seat and like seeing where these different areas take me. But I believe that everything that I'm doing right now or serve a purpose, and so I'm just gonna stick to it for now.
I love that. And just one more thing to all of our young listeners, or our beautiful ladies who want to start a side business or side hustle, what would be your biggest piece of advice to them?
My biggest piece of advice, and it's so cliche, but don't ever think that whatever you dream of is impossible. Like I am proof to that right now in sharing. Like all the things that I had thought was going to be. And another thing is, if you're very young, don't be so hard on yourself if things don't go the way that you think that it needs to. Like you've got your plans and ideas and you think that that's it. Like if life throws you, you know, slightly off the road and, you know, in a new direction, don't be afraid to continue working hard and following it. You just never know when it will surprise you, because all the things that I'm doing right now, sis, ask me 10 years ago, I would have never imagined I'd be doing it. So that's where life takes you, and you just got to go with it and stay true to who you are, because then everything naturally will align to it. Like as in everything that I'm about is happening right now in my workspaces. So just follow that, and don't be afraid to dream big.
Well, sis, I just want to say thank you for coming on. I know you already got heaps of things going on and you're a very busy gal, but I'm really grateful that you took the time to come on Ask Sis, and I wish you the very best when it comes to Fale De Keke, and super excited to see where our journey takes us here in Sisters United. We can just run a few things behind the scenes. I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you, and to all of our listeners out there, stay tuned for our next episode. So bye ladies, bye girlies, bye slayers.
Bye girls.